Wow, just absolutely, totally wow. Wow really is the perfect way to describe playing through these. These are ADA MP1 preamps from the 80s, the legendary ADA MP1 preamps from the 80s. You know, when I was a kid, I used to see these in the guitar magazines in the late 80s, early 90s. Guitar players like Nuno Bettencourt, Vito Bratta, Paul Gilbert, and the guys from Skid Row, Dave Sabo and Scotty Hill used these on various albums. You know, some of my absolute favorite albums. And I've always been curious about the sound. Now, over the last couple of weeks, I have been playing around with the absolutely amazing Nembrini Audio MP1 plugin. So I kind of had an inkling about the sound of them. And obviously from albums like Porno Graffiti and White Lion's Big Game and Pride and stuff like that. But playing through an actual one, wow, what an experience. Absolutely amazing, amazing experience. But before I tell you all about it, two things. Firstly, huge shout out to my friend Jed, who lent me these two units for a couple of weeks to check out and do a video of. So grateful that he did it, because you know what, it's just phenomenal playing them. And secondly, stick around till the end of the video, because I have done a full track, full mix with these two, and they sound absolutely epic. You're gonna want to hear that track, trust me. It's one of the best sounding tracks I've done in a long time. So the MP1 was released in 1987, and it really was cutting edge at the time because of various functions that it had on it. Firstly, you know, the layout. Look, it has buttons on there. You press an edit button and you go to your parameters and change it with an up-down arrow rather than a knob. So a little bit different than one of my regular amps, like, you know, with knobs and stuff. The other thing was it was MIDI capable, so you could do all your switching with MIDI, and that was really cutting edge back in the day. Now it's a standard thing. You know, you get a modeler and it has MIDI in it. You get an amp, it might have MIDI in it, and switching and stuff like that. So, you know, it's something which has been integrated into the gear that we use now. But back then, 1987, you know, it was like a space shuttle. You know, it literally was. It was pretty space age at the time. So it had that. And the other thing it had was you could store the presets. That's a phenomenal function of this. You could store the presets of the sounds of a tube preamp. Now think about that. Storing the presets, 128 of them of a tube preamp. That's freaking awesome. That is so cool. And it's exactly what I did when I dialed in my tone with this. I saved it to a preset. So how does this work? Well, it's pretty special how it works. It has an overdrive 1, an overdrive 2, master gain, then it has a 3-band EQ, bass, middle, treble, presence control on there. It has a voicing control on there as well, and it also has chorus built in. And the chorus I actually used for the clean sound that I used on the track, which you're going to hear at the end of the video. It sounded so epic, sounded very 80s, which was so cool. So overdrive 1 is actually the pre-gain. It's how hot the input signal from your guitar is going into the preamp. And then overdrive 2 is actually the gain that you're putting into the tube. So it's the overdrive from the tubes. So both work in combination with each other. The hotter the signal going in, it's kind of like boosting the signal into the front end of the preamp. Then the master gain is the overall volume of the patch. Obviously it's a programmable preamp, so you're going to have different programs on each of the channels. Now if you do a clean channel which is very low in volume, and then you jump to an overdrive sound and, you know, volume just jumps up, then it's not going to be great for using live and stuff like that. So they actually built in the master gain so that you could kind of, you know, balance out the levels. Then you have a regular bass, middle, treble control. They're really powerful, very cool. They really help you to shape the sound, and you can really hear the differences when you start changing the parameters. The presence control is absolutely awesome. It kind of changes the character of the preamp somewhat. So it's worth playing around with that to kind of get your perfect tone. Then the voicing control is very cool, because you have 3 voicings on here. You have 2 voicings for the tubes, one of which is distortion, one of which is clean, and then you have a solid state, which is a clean channel. Now in solid state mode, the overdrive 1 actually acts as your gain control and overdrive 2 as your compression control. And I love the sound of the solid state clean. That's what I used on the track, which you'll hear in a little while. It also has an effects loop in here as well, so you can patch in your reverbs, delays, modulations, whatever you want. And it works really, really well. I have tried it out and it works phenomenally well. I loved playing through this. You know why I love playing through it even more? Well, when Jed dropped this off, he actually dropped off a BBE Sonic Maximizer 422A as well. Now, they have to go together. It is written in law, trust me, it is written in law that they have to go together. Now obviously I'm kidding, but they work so well together. With the BBE, I was able to dial in the perfect treble and bass. It controlled the bass really well because this has plenty of bass on there. The combination of the two is just so quintessentially 80s. Loved playing them. I want one. Now for the last few weeks I have been playing around with the Nembrini Audio MP1 plugin, which is phenomenal. It comes really, really close to the sound of this. There's a certain grain and texture to how the distortion sounds in the hardware unit, and I so want one. I think I might be hunting for one, so stay tuned to the channel because you may see more MP1 videos in the near future as well, if I can get a hold of one. Spoiler alert, already bought one. Such a pleasure to play, and it was so much fun. I've had such a blast playing it. I think the track that I did was just, it sounds so good. One of the best sounding tracks I've done in a very long time. Played this guitar through the preamps, and the signal chain was guitar went into preamp, preamp went into the BBE, BBE went into the return on the loop of my slow drag amp, which is a custom Soldano SLO. That went into my Boss tube amp expander, which is a load box, and then that went into my audio interface. I used IRs in Logic, and also added some reverb and delay via IK Multimedia, Sunset Sound, and Tape Echo as well. I've loved doing this. I have had so much fun playing these. They are a little bit noisy, and they have a reputation of becoming noisy over time. It's over 30 years old. It's an old piece of gear, but that can be fixed with replacement filter caps and op amps and stuff like that. But fantastic. If you ever get a chance to check them out, plug into one, play it. Trust me, you will love it. Alrighty guys and girls, if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification so that you know when more videos of this are coming on my channel. And also please do give it a thumbs up, it's so much appreciated. And on the track that you're going to hear, I used the top one on the left hand channel and the bottom one on the right hand channel. The top one is actually a UK spec one, so it runs on 240 volts, and the bottom one is actually a US spec one, so it runs on 110 volts. It's plugged into an adapter to deal with the differences in voltage between the UK and the US. They both sounded identical, they sound fantastic, both have the same voicing and stuff, so there wasn't any difference in tone due to like the difference in the voltages or anything like that. Have a great day. Here is the full track with these two. I hope you enjoy it as much as I've enjoyed playing through these and recording with them. All right, have a great day. I'll see you soon. Bye.